everybody. How are you tonight? I hope the heater doesn't make too much noise. When you get here, tell me hi, and if there's too much noise in the background, let me know. So, welcome to Insights with Ivanna, a weekly broadcast designed to help you identify, embrace, and live more fully in your genius by illuminating important pieces of information that you actually already possess. So tonight we are on week 3 of a 4-week series exploring how to illuminate your new year and illuminate your life forever. Hello, Jody. Hi, Christina. Welcome, guys. I have my little heater on, so let me know if it makes too much noise in the background. So I'm so excited to have you guys here tonight. I am Ivanna, the founder and chief luminary officer of Luminary Insights, an intuitive life coaching brand. So today we are going to explore the second E, which is empower, in the Illuminate Your New Year series. And hi, Karen. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to have you on tonight. So I do want to remind you guys that you can do these 4 steps anytime, but I've chosen to do them the last 4 weeks of the year with the mini holidays and all the hustle and bustle as we approach New Year's resolutions, as we talked about in our earlier broadcast, with a twist. A lot of us don't really care for New Year's resolutions, and we talked a little bit about why, and we'll talk some more about why tonight and how we can really set ourselves up to up-level our lives in a way that's just ongoing. So our goal is to enter 2022 already a stronger, better version of ourselves with habits in place and the whole year ahead of us to change the world. Change our world and change the world is our goal. So 2 weeks ago, we explored how you can embrace your genius by identifying the difference between your zone of excellence and your zone of genius. And we talked a lot about genius being that place where like time stands still and you just feel like things are just coming to you and you know you're where you're supposed to be. And some people said, I'm not sure what my genius is yet. So we talked a little bit about the zone of excellence where you know you do things well. And so either one of those places, if you missed the first 2 broadcasts, you can jump in with those concepts tonight. So once we thought about our zone of excellence or our zone of genius, we chose at least one aspect, something we're already good at, because so often we try to make New Year's resolutions where we sort of set ourselves up to fail. So let's set ourselves up for success. Pick something you already do well and decide that you want to up-level it. Maybe you want to add a new skill. Maybe you want to just spend more time doing it. And so last week, we took what was chosen in week 1 and we visualized it. We said, how do we take this aspect of our lives and look at it, see it, feel it, touch it as if it already is? And so we explored affirmations, vision boards, and then we ended with a powerful visualization that we did together. And after the broadcast, one of the participants said, I was almost in tears with the exercise. You walking me through the different senses and feeling of it all truly brought it to life. I feel like it is so much more real now. And that was such a special comment. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say who it was, so I didn't. But thank you. It makes me feel so good to know that when I'm sharing something that works for me, that it's working for you as well. So tonight, we're going to take it the next step. We are going to become empowered by taking action. And then finally next week, we'll tie it all together as we receive. And so I hope you'll be able to join me next week. So I'm going to pause, see who else is here. I'm so excited to have you guys here tonight. I know some of you have been on for all 3 weeks, some of you have not. So I'm going to pause for just a second to see if you have any questions about what we covered in week 1 and week 2. Picking something that we want to up-level in our lives, something we already do well, either in our zone of excellence or hopefully in our zone of genius. And we're going to go back to that same visualization tonight. So if you missed last week, you'll have an opportunity to do that, only we're going to take it a step deeper. So I'm going to pause for just a second. And I hear every week that people were on that I never saw. So please type a message if you're here. And thanks, Jody's responding back to other people and everything. I love it. I love it. Oh, good. I'm glad my heater's not loud. All right, let's keep going. So how do we become empowered? You might remember that the first E I mentioned when we talked about that first E, embrace, I mentioned massive and inspired action, and that the difference is really in the energy of where the guidance is coming from. If the guidance is coming from your logical side, which is also referred to as masculine energy, or if it's coming from your intuitive side, which is often called your feminine side or your feminine energy. So we have decided to work with our intuition or our feminine energy to put that spin on the idea of resolutions by pairing it with our genius as we close out this year and move into the next calendar year. But again, let me remind you, these 4 steps, you can do them anytime. You can even do them every day. You don't have to be confined to a calendar. So please, please, please know that you can jump in with this anytime. So with the first E, embrace. Each of you identified an area that you're already good in, part of your genius or your zone of excellence, and you determined what you would like to take to the next level. Then with the V, we visualized it, and now we're going to explore how to actually make it happen. But before we do that, I want to look at the why. You may be familiar with Simon Sinek. He has a fantastic book, Start with the Why, and he talks about how those who start with why are the ones that are successful. They make a difference because they're not just trying to sell you a product or do an action. They're actually trying to live out something they believe in, and that's so important. So you might remember that I decided that I wanted to spend more time in my genius area of writing and coaching. So I visualized my positivity course being complete. It's complete, it's online, it's got people going through the course. I'm getting emails that are telling me how the course has touched their lives, and it's bringing me new coaching clients. So yeah, of course, part of my why is I want to make money because I want to keep my business going. But that's not my real why. My real why is that I know that I have something that can help people, and I want the opportunity to positively touch their lives. I want to help them identify, embrace, and live more fully in their genius. So that's my why. Everything that I do has to be helping move me along to help other people have better lives. So I want you to just take a moment and reflect on the choices you made either during the first 2 broadcasts or whatever came to your mind first now. We talked about that last week. Trust your instincts. Whatever came to your mind, run with it. And I want you to just think about, what are you focusing on? What did you visualize? And what is your why? So take a minute, think about that, and then type it in the chat box. What is your why? So Karen has start with why and be successful. So she's already kind of ahead of me. Yes, E is embrace, V is visualize, and then the next E is empower. And that's part of the forever. We are illuminating our lives forever. And so I am not good at catching, I can't type and talk at the same time, catching links sometimes on Amazon, but there's the link to Simon Sinek's book, Start with Why. So you've got that there. Awesome. So let me know, what is your why? I like it, Karen, you're almost like a cheerleader. Give me an E, give me a V, give me an E. We're working up to that 4 letters, forever, that we are going to be changing our lives for the positive forever. Illuminating our new year and illuminating our lives forever. So what's your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why did you visualize the thing you chose to visualize last week? Why did you pick that? I know Jody and Christina were both here for that one, so I'd love to hear from you. Jody, my why, to help others and to grow personally. What a beautiful combination. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Jody. I think we talked in the last broadcast about everything I do, everything I share, it helps me grow. And sometimes if it's the thing I'm going to share, it's the thing I struggle with the most on that very day, because God the universe is teaching me new lessons to help me grow as I'm trying to help others. Okay, Karen, no problem. Thinking of your why. Cognitively very tired. This time of year, a lot of people are, so no pressure. And one of the things, again, that we talked about last week is whatever pops into your mind, just let it be there. Or if nothing's there right now, I was going to share later, but I'll even say it now. Sleep on it. Take a shower. Take a walk. Things will pop into your mind. Listen to those sounds. Listen to those voices when you hear them, because it's your subconscious, it's your intuition helping move you along in the right direction. Christina says, I'm drawing closer to God and my church to strengthen my relationships and enrich my life. So yeah, we talked last week, Christina, about how you just have this gift for relationships, for building those relationships, for helping people feel safe and comfortable. And that's just a powerful part of your genius. So yeah, part of your why, again, growing yourself and growing others at the same time. Awesome. And if anybody else is here, please say hi. So the why is so important. And now that we've talked about your why, let's move to the what? The action part, the empowerment. So here's where Ivanna, and you guys all know me, here's where I go into massive action. I go into that masculine, and I use my logical brain, and I do my backwards planning, and I pick my dates, and I pick what I'm going to do on that day, and how I'm going to do it, and what my deadlines are. And none of that's bad. It's essential. But it can also be really stressful. I don't know if you noticed, even when I'm describing it, like my shoulders start going up and I quit breathing. I go into that masculine, like it's got to be done. It's massive. But it's not the only way. And so I've had to learn a lot about moving into that feminine energy and seeking inspired action. So just like in my example on the first night of going to the gym every day, I may do the same things, but I'm doing it with a different energy. So if I stop and take time to just be still, think about the visualization we did, and just think in my mind, visualize, do my affirmations, just kind of calm down and talk about what it is I want to do. If I can see it as if it's already there, I look at the details. Maybe when I'm visualizing, new details come in that I hadn't thought of in my conscious mind. Maybe there's a person who comes into my visualization. My subconscious is saying, reach out to that person. That person might be a part of your puzzle. It may be that I see an idea or a color, or there's a feeling that I have that I can incorporate into my work that comes through the inspired action. And it takes me to an entirely new level. The energy is completely different. I still have deadlines. I still have to figure out when I'm going to do things and how I'm going to do them, but it's different. And it may be excitement, it may be calm, but it's not that sense of stress. And when I start going back into that stress, then I know I've moved into the massive action, and I've stepped out of the inspired action. I've moved back into the masculine from the feminine. Oh, I'm seeing some comments. Let's see what we've got. The planning can be overwhelming. Yes, it needs to be done, but we need to figure out a pace that works. Absolutely. And all the research says the more stressed you get, the less creative you get. Think about if you're in a hurry. Do you drop things when you're in a hurry? I can think about trying to put on an earring or trying to get dressed and move, and I drop things or I trip over something. If I just calm down, I can do it more fluidly. And so part of that is stepping out of that go, 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 go masculine, which led to a stroke for me at the age of 50, and stepping out into a more relaxed, calm, meditative, mindful state of mind. I'm not always there. It doesn't come naturally to me. I'm naturally in that masculine energy. So that massive action. So let's see if anyone has any comments, because what I'd like to do at this point is actually go back into the visualization that we did last week and take it a little bit farther. So we'll do the same thing you were visualizing last week if you were here. If you weren't here last week, I'll give you a second to pick something, again, something you're already doing well, but you want to take it to the next level. And then we're going to ask you to close your eyes, and we will walk through you visualizing that situation. Only this time, as we're doing it, I want you to add as many details as you possibly can and pay attention to what comes into your mind, because your subconscious may be giving you some clues and some ideas that will help you take it to the next level. And that is inspired action. So I'm going to give you just a second, especially if you weren't here last week. If you were here last week, think about what it is you're wanting to up level. When you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes. Bring that item or that situation or the thing that you want to do to your mind. See it in your mind's eyes. What colors are there? Maybe it's something you're wearing or something on the walls. Where are you? What is your location? Can you tell what time of day it is? Or even what season it might be? Are there other people around you? What are they doing? What are they wearing? What are you wearing? Add any other visual details to what you're seeing in your mind's eye right now. And as you're doing this, if you'll breathe in deeply, hold it for just a second, and then breathe out deeply and hold it for just a second as you're visualizing, that can help you go even deeper. So now let's add some feelings. What's the temperature where you are? Are there any textures? Are you touching something? Do you feel something? Maybe you feel the touch of the skin on someone's hand or a piece of fabric. Maybe you feel a breeze blowing against your face. What are you feeling at this time as far as touching? What do you feel? Now go ahead, if you haven't already in your mind's eye, add what you hear. What are the sounds around you? Do you hear music? Maybe you hear birds or wind out in nature. Do you hear voices? Are there any specific words that you're hearing? Listen carefully to any words that may be coming through. Keep adding on. Is there anything that you smell or anything that you taste? Maybe there's a food that you're eating. Maybe there's something that just comes to your mouth out of nowhere. What do you smell? What do you taste? And now take it even deeper to the emotional aspect of feeling. What emotions do you feel while you're in this visualization? Are you happy? Maybe you're excited, full of joy. Maybe you're just calm. Take all of these things and add as much detail to it as you possibly can. What do you see, feel, hear, smell, taste? What emotions? As you're feeling those emotions, if it's happiness, if it's joy, if it's excitement, if you don't already have a big smile on your face, let that smile come across your face. Feel that emotion deeply and sit with it for just a moment. Some of you may want to linger there. And the beauty of this activity is that now that you have brought it into your consciousness, you can come back to this at any time. All you have to do is begin this visualization. If it doesn't all come flooding back, ask yourself the same questions. But make sure you go to the depth of that emotion. See it as if it is real now. So what I'd like you to do at this point is imagine that you take a snapshot that encompasses everything that you're seeing, feeling, hearing, smelling, and that the emotions are embedded in that photograph. Take that photo And it's just like the old-timey instant photos. Hold that photo out in front of you and let the scene itself fade away into the background. And let that photo become clear. And just look at that photo. Bring the photo to your heart and hold it there. And let it just become part of who you are. And now take a very deep breath in and hold it for just a second. And then let it out. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Begin to open your eyes when you're ready. Come back into the room. I know some of you may not want to come back from that beautiful imagery. But again, remember, you can now go back to that at any time. And the more you practice it, the quicker you'll be able to go back into it. And the more you do it, the more details that you can add. And then the more inspired action that you'll be ready to take. So I'm going to pause, and I hope even with my eyes open and me talking to you, I get chills, and the power of going inside is so, so deep. And I hope that you'll share with me a little bit about what did you experience in that moment? What details did you get? Did you get anything new? That's beautiful, Karen. Deep peace. And I was going to say, I don't know about you, but I do know about you. We need peace in our lives, right? All of us need peace at some level, but we need peace. And even to escape for a moment into that peace is so healing for our bodies and our minds. You mentioned that fatigue, the brain fatigue. It's healing. It helps to reset. And again, to me, the beauty of this activity is now that you've gone there purposefully, you've taught your body and your mind that you can go there at will, you can call that up anytime. You can, for me, I think I mentioned this in an earlier broadcast in another series. For me, especially when we were in the office all the time, in the middle of a busy day, the bathroom is a quiet place, and I can go and just get away for a moment, and I can go to that beautiful place. Those are those joy points, the joy moments that we talked about in our last series. That joy, I can go there at any moment. I just have to remember to do it, because I have that power, and that can change the way I react to everything else the rest of the day. That can get my shoulders up, out of my neck, and get them down and get me relaxed. That's beautiful, Karen. Thank you. Jody, that's great. You got too relaxed. You almost fell asleep. And that's okay. Again, the beauty is your subconscious mind is processing all of this. And now when you take a shower or when you take a walk out in nature, something may just pop up. You can go to sleep and have a dream, and write down your dreams when things come up, because so often those are those inspired actions. And it's okay if you didn't get something right now. Something will come. You just have to be willing to listen. One of the things you can do also is you can brainstorm. You can just brainstorm out loud or brainstorm and write things down. Set your intention or ask a question. And if you write with your non-dominant hand, that triggers something in your brain that helps your subconscious messaging come through. And so try writing with your non-dominant hand. So I might say, I want to spend more time in my genius. How can I do that? That could be my intention, and I can write that question, and I can just write whatever comes to my mind, and often there will be answers that come through that. Christina said, I got the same scene as last time, but with much more detail. Yay! Lots of faces and faces of strangers, stained glass, sun rays. Oh, sun rays, wonderful. The smell of hot soup, and also a new scene on the street. I encourage you to write all of that down, because one day you may be somewhere and you go, oh my gosh, this is what I saw. when I was in that visualization. That's the stained glass window. And if you've described that stained glass window in your journal and then it happens, you don't have to guess. You can go back and read your journal and go, oh my gosh, this is what I saw. This is what I saw. It may not happen that way, but often it does. So I just appreciate so much you guys taking the time to do this with me. And I do want to tell you that I'm sure it's not the first time I had an inspired action, but my first time of really being cognizantly aware of it was in the shower when I was taking the courses with Jack Canfield, and he was really encouraging us to understand how to work with our intuition and to be more in that feminine energy. I was taking a shower, and the whole draft of the entire positivity course, it was like a download, whoop, came to me in the shower. And I got out of the shower and I typed for 2 hours and created the entire skeleton of that course. Now, have I gotten it finished yet? Not yet, but that is part of my inspired action. I have been trying to do it, but a lot of it's been more in that push, 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 get it done. And so now I'm like, okay, step back. I was given the entire course in the shower. Certainly, I'm meant to finish it, right? So it was amazing to me. I'm like, oh, if this is what inspired action is, I've had it before, but I didn't know what to call it, and it's amazing. Yes, Jody has to wait a few weeks for the non-dominant handwriting because of the surgery on her wrist, but I'm so glad to hear that you are healing up well. And you can even dictate. Sometimes if you dictate, you're not as focused on what you're saying, and you just go with stream of consciousness, and you can record something on your phone and get great things that way as well. So I'm curious to know, as we wrap it up, do you have any thoughts on what your next steps might be? Like, I know for me, I need to do some of that non-dominant handwriting. I know how powerful that is for me. I know how hard it is for me to read it, but I also know that it does help me connect to my subconscious and bring things out. So do you have any ideas of what next steps you might want? Yes, Jody, it was an awesome revelation in the shower. My husband's like, what are you doing? It must have been a Saturday or Sunday. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm writing. I have to get all of this out of my head and onto paper. So do you have any next steps that you're already aware of? I mean, your next steps might just be go back to that visualization, go back to that joy point that we talked about in the last series. Go back to that place where you find rest and relaxation, and you can allow yourself to just release from all of the massive action that we deal with every day. So I'll give you a second to see if you have next steps yet. And it's okay if you don't. Oh, Karen ordered 2 flute books this evening. That's wonderful. So really, that's something you already do so well. And yet, ordering a new book takes you to the next level. And I know, I've seen you play. I know when you're playing, you are in the zone. You are in your zone of genius. It's so worshipful. It's so relaxing to us, but it does something beautiful to you too. I see you transform when you play. So that's exciting. Very exciting. Anybody else have next steps? Again, it's okay not to. Next steps could be, I'm just going to wait and see what comes in the shower. Right? Well, if you type, I will be glad to read it, but I will just say, if you want to explore these ideas more deeply, you can fill out the Let's Talk form at myilluminaryinsights.com. And if you found today's episode entertaining or educational, make sure to share it with a friend. I really appreciate you guys coming and bringing other people. Jody's going to do activities to improve photography and editing skills. And I just have to say that right now, all of the pictures on my website at myilluminaryinsights.com are Jody G photos. And I just appreciate her work so much. I've gotten so many compliments on the photos, and I just want to thank you for that. Denise, hi Denise, hello. So Denise said, singing Oh Holy Night at the Children's Mass on Christmas Eve. Oh, another music. Karen and Denise, you two need to connect. Denise plays piano, she sings, she writes. Just beautiful, beautiful things. Denise is one of the co-authors. Of course, I always have it by my side. Denise is one of the co-authors in Women Who Shine, and I've had the privilege of getting to know her. And yes, that's just beautiful with the music. I hope it'll be recorded. Let's see. Christina says, I have been so fortunate to have, just within this past week, people invite me to participate in events and go deeper. Christina, I'm so glad you shared that, because that's part of the inspired action as well. When we are praying, when we are meditating, when we are reaching out, God will send us the things we need in our lives. And I know sometimes you'll hear me say the universe, different people refer to things differently, and I want to be inclusive of that. But God, the universe, will send us exactly what it is we're looking for. And sometimes we're sent what we're looking for, but we're not paying attention. But when we have put an intention out, then we pay attention and it's there. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Christina. I can't wait to hear where that takes you next. I really can't wait to hear more about that. So we are wrapping up. I do try to keep this at about 30 minutes because I know that for me is my attention span at its max. So I do hope you'll join me next Wednesday. It's the last of this 4-part series on illuminating your life forever. And we will wrap up with the very important letter R, which is to receive. So we have embraced, we have visualized, tonight we have empowered. And all of those things coming together, sounds like, Christina, you're already receiving. We will talk about even more how to bring more of that receptivity into our lives, how to receive the things that it is we desire. And so for me, this is just a way to kind of put a different twist on this time of year when people are setting their New Year's resolutions. But this is a way to, again, change your life forever. And it doesn't have to be done at this time of year. But I am excited about going into my new year already having in place and already having accomplished some of the things that I want to accomplish in my year, or at least being well on my way. So Denise says, going ahead with my goals for 2022, wrote them already. Fantastic. Denise, we talked in one of the broadcasts about, what do you do? Do you write New Year's resolutions? Do you avoid them? And we talked a lot about how the different mindsets, and that's part of what this whole 4-week series is about setting yourself up to succeed by looking into your intuition and tying it to your zone of genius. And so I just appreciate each of you so much. I think there might be some other people here that haven't put their hello in, because I'm seeing more numbers than I've seen names. So if you're here, do say hello. The broadcast will be on YouTube as well as on the website and on this particular Facebook page, so you'll have a chance to go back. But I'm excited about this 4-part series. It's a wonderful growth opportunity for me, and it makes me so happy to hear each of you, how you're growing and working through this together. So thank you so much for being here tonight, and I hope you have an amazing holiday, amazing Christmas. I will be back on again, whatever holidays you're celebrating. I can't even keep up with all the calendars sometimes. I know that Kwanzaa will be going on. I know that we had Hanukkah, so I need to do better with my holidays. But thank you, thank you, thank you. And even for people who do not celebrate any of those, it's all about being a better you. So have a fantastic night, and I will be back on next Wednesday night to receive. Have a fantastic evening. Love you guys. Sending lots of love and light.